brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
It's another Suds segment.
Yay.
Is this one going to be good, finally?
Yes. So, for those of you that don't know, this is a Suds segment where good beer meets bad radio.
Horribly bad.
Bad
Yes.
radio.
So, I am one of the hostess, and I'm the only...
I know who the other hostess is. I'm looking at him.
And I'm the only girl in the group. This is good old gal Julieanna. Welcome, folks. With me today at the table is good old boy Dave.
I'm very popular, y'all.
Who always leads with some bizarreness.
He's got it.
He's got it.
I finished with some bizarreness,
He's the sound
too.
guy. What can we say,
is.
folks?
Give me buttons. I will push them.
Yes. Also at the table is good old boy Caperton.
Howdy, folks.
Hello. And making another appearance, and he needs to show up more, folks, is good old boy Reverend Mark.
Blessings and peace on you all, my children.
I feel infinitely
official.
better now.
It's official.
It
Peace
is,
be unto
isn't it?
us.
Yes, yes,
Indeed.
yes.
Hops and yeast upon y'all.
And also making a rarefied appearance, which he needs to come here more often.
Now that he found the place.
Now that he found the place, yes, is good old boy Drew.
Happy to be back.
Wow.
One of the two best beards at the table. I would have to say. I mean...
There are a
There
couple.
are two beards at the table. So.
Whoa.
Oh, three. Oh,
Whoa.
Sorry.
Jack Wagon.
Them's fighting
And I just didn't
words.
shave this morning is all. Yeah.
I feel so out of place.
Good old boy, in my
Probably for the
defense,
best.
good old boy Dave's beard is
It's high and tight.
so gray. that with my
You said great, right? Great.
with my readers on,
It looked like it was just part of my
it
gray
looked like
face.
part of his face. His little
Wow.
bit of
Because
his pallor there.
My my skin tone is
little gray.
fish belly white. So
Tis the season.
I love that.
Sorry,
Fish
buddy.
belly white. I like that. That's awesome.
Didn't he play down in the Delta someplace? Blind fish belly white.
that's right. He was a running back, but he kept running the wrong way.
Coming at a vinyl listening near you. Yes. Okay.
And we're done.
Yes, we're done before we even
Great show,
started.
everyone.
Yes. Thank you so
Glad
much.
I could kill it for everyone.
Thanks for showing up. Yes, indeed. Okay, this Suds segment is brought to you by...
The law offices of Scratchers J. Scratcherton. Are you a kitty? Do you need an attorney? Call the law offices of Scratchers J. Scratcherton today. Scratchers J. Scratcherton, attorney at law, will fight for you and give injustice the claw. Scratchers J. Scratcherton is not licensed to practice law in any state.
There you go.
I want that kitty for my attorney.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
based off that commercial.
Okay, that's a whole different animal. But anyways, today's episode, ladies and gentlemen,
Animal, you see what she did there?
Woof.
That was good.
It was good.
That was
I'm
good.
so
She
glad
is-
you caught on to that.
She is. She's
She's a
slick.
pro. She's a pro.
It must be her birthday.
There's a reason we let her do the talk.
That's right.
I might have done this a couple times.
That's right.
Okay, today's episode is a brewery takeover.
We're taking over.
It is?
It is.
Wait.
Throw it down.
We're
No,
taking
stop.
them over?
We are.
Really?
We're taking it over.
Okay.
Gonna go run amok? You drinking beer? You going to the bar? You gonna play your numbers?
I knew that. I'm sorry.
And the number today is 5.
5.
Play it, everyone. Play 5.
Yes, play 5. We are talking about a brewery takeover from Night Shift Brewing in Everett, Massachusetts.
Night Shift Brewing was founded in 2012 by a trio of friends. That means three. With a shared passion for home brewing. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Through culinary inspiration and determined innovation, those rhyme, by the way, we aim to create memorable craft beer after a wide array of unique, complex flavors. I'm sorry I'm talking that way. I've been watching The Crown a lot lately.
Okay.
You need more alliteration.
Yes. Thank you, peasant. What do we believe? We believe in creating and sharing a world-class culture built around passion. This belief influences everything from our branding to our
Sales service
to our staffing. They're passionate.
They have the best staffing.
Oh, they will touch you
Branding.
the whole time you're there. To our tap
want 'em to
room
brand me.
environment, to our processes, passionate. To our production floor, passionate. We are an endless passionate about the culture that we create, and we look to share that culture with those around us.
Passionately.
What is this, a Calvin
I think
Klein
we were
commercial?
all there. Yeah.
I know, really.
There's a
Okay.
lot
Killed
of
it.
a lot of touching and breathing.
But do you think they brand you for real? Like with the
Yes.
hot things?
That Julie got one when she was there.
No kidding? Was
Yeah.
it that cute little owl? 'Cause
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, got one right on her left cheek.
They do have a nice little,
I'm not talking about on her face.
it's like a hop owl.
It
sort
is.
of.
It is. I mean,
They call him
'cause
Hoppy.
It
Do
looks.
Yeah, he's
It looks
Hoppy the
hoppy,
owl.
but he also looks very strong. You know what I mean? He's not like a
He
wimpy
is.
owl.
He looks wise
He looks passionate.
and hoppy.
And in charge.
Yep.
He's an in charge owl.
Yep,
Yes,
for sure.
His
Yes.
head turns
Well done
all the
on
way
the branding night
Yes.
shift.
Very
around. Yeah,
cool.
no, I think they did a great job.
I do
It's
too. I
actually
like
really
the
cool.
labels, actually.
And speaking of
I would get a
labels-
brand
And the tall boys.
or maybe
Yes,
a tattoo.
Exactly. Okay, speaking of the branding and the tall boys that are in front of us here on the special carousel, good old boy Caperton, will you give us today's lineup?
Yes, I will. The Night Shift Brewing beers that we will be discussing and drinking today are
Dun dun dun.
Morph, which is a series of it says rotating beers. Obviously, they're stationary.
No, they spin around and
No,
around.
they're stationary. I've been
Right
watching.
round.
I've been watching this one.
Like a
They
record.
circle
And
the
it's been
earth.
super still, and but it is with different hops. I'm assuming each time, maybe even a different grain.
Oh, they just
But
change it up.
the
Completely.
hops for the batch of Morph, which is 57,
Yep.
is Azaka, Citra, and Yukonot. I'm sorry, Equinaut, which was the former.
That's like an
Equinox.
Ecuadorian astronaut.
Okay, moving right along, we have Whirlpool, their
Quito.
New England Pale Ale,
What?
NEPA. That's right.
Yes.
Their lager, Village Lager, a Zwecker beer, Zweckel beer.
Zwickle.
We
Or a
have
Keller
we
beer.
have a little-
Yeah.
I think I had a combination of the two.
That
here.
just means fuzzy lager.
But it's lagered. And Awake, their coffee aged porter,
Nice.
and Amarillo, one of their single hopped IPAs.
It's their Texas IPA.
It's called One Hop This Time, these
That's right.
beers.
And I saw one dead down the road, even here in Tennessee.
You saw an Amarillo on the side of the road?
Yeah, I sure did.
No way.
We got an Amarillo problem.
Don't touch it because it'll give you anthrax.
It'll give you the
I thought it was leprosy.
herpes.
Oh, that's right. That's even worse. Get them.
One of
You
those.
put your
Everything's
hand,
just falling all over the place.
Yeah, you put your hand on it, and all of a sudden you're,
No more hand.
Yep. Yep.
It's gone.
Yep.
Wow, it's like the Kudzu.
Anyway, those are the 5
There
beers.
you go.
Okay. Well, thank you.
That's crazy.
Good old
We
boy
should talk
Caperton.
more
Welcome.
about leprosy.
You're welcome.
Maybe another episode.
Okay, that's cool. That's
Yes,
fine.
thank you.
People should know about it, though.
And maybe we can start a report on that too.
Correct.
Okay.
Good
Good
old boy
old-
Caperton's leprosy report.
Special segment.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't get me started on leprosy.
Reverend Mark, would you please do us the honors
Please.
of the Suds ratings in your best Reverend
Reverend.
voice?
Oh, I can't see these words, though. Well, depends on
Judge
where
us.
I'm speaking from.
Judge us not, Reverend Mark.
Well, it is my honor and privilege to be discussing these beers right here as we sip these suds and bestow these ratings upon our signature belching sounds.
Amen.
Now let us hear it from the choir. Number 1, sisters, give it to me first. That sucks. Give me anything but a bud.
Hallelujah.
Wow.
And number 2, I don't want to talk about number 2, but
Does anyone ever really want to talk about number 2?
We should.
But everyone does it.
I think Danny Thomas liked to talk about it.
We should.
Is it too
Samuel L.
soon
Jackson.
for that? Yeah, sorry.
I always got in trouble for number 2. But anyway,
Don't do it in the bed.
Sage advice. Sage.
well, with all that in mind, W2, we're in tax season 2, you know, was that a belch?
No, sir. That was the number 2.
And number 3, for the Trinity itself, what a relief.
A lot of power in that number.
Right.
Number 4, a body should really not make that sound.
Preach on, brother.
And
Preach
number
on.
5, listen to that hang time. Give me another.
Yeah.
Heavenly.
Okay. There was an episode of Good Eats in which Alton Brown was talking about Colonel Sanders, and I swear that you were channeling Alton Brown
the Colonel.
as Colonel Sanders.
Colonel himself, Holland
Signature spices.
Sanders.
Wow. That was
That was
epic.
some good chicken, brother.
Isn't Colonel Sanders a woman now?
Reba.
What?
Reba.
Reba is
Now
now Colonel Sanders.
Colonel
No way.
Sanders.
Have they taken everything from us?
We'll be back in just a brief minute.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of a rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
Welcome back, everyone.
Out of hand in here.
We are doing all sorts of fun stuff here today.
We are.
But one thing that we are doing is a brewery takeover of Night Shift Brewing Company in the beautiful New England area.
Massachusetts.
Yes, Everett, Massachusetts.
Everett, Massachusetts.
Spell that, please.
Yes, I do.
Everett.
Not Everest.
That's not what he meant.
That's the way we spell. Yeah, Everett.
Okay.
Success.
Wow.
You know me.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get to the beer, though,
Yes, before we get to
we
the beer.
have a new part
Oh.
of our podcast.
Oh, can't
Yes.
wait, can't wait.
I'm up.
And
That's right.
this is the special vine that eats
So special.
the South. And there are a lot of people that are concerned about this.
There are.
This is,
And people who are not concerned should be.
Don't mock this, guys.
no, this is the Kudzu Report.
The Kudzu Report. Good people, I'm here to tell you, this is good old boy Caperton. I'm here to tell you that the fight against kudzu, the slow motion green tsunami, continues. As we've already discussed, this noxious vine can consume entire communities, and that includes your backyards, my friends. I know the fight against this greed scourge is arduous and exhausting. Trust me, I know.
Tell us, brother. Tell us.
It's exhausting.
Preach.
The invasive vine in question, this green invader, is persistent and tireless.
Oh, my.
But fortunately, we have some very smart folks around the globe, because this is a worldwide problem.
This is.
As far as I know.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Very smart folks are working overtime, and that's good. That's good news, and they're going to provide us with effective weapons in this fight, such as profiles and courage.
Yes.
Yes.
Researchers at the Oklahoma State University have recently developed a robot with artificial intelligence to help in the eradication of the green menace in question.
Nice.
True.
Do it.
I read this on the World Wide Web, and there's nothing but truth.
There's nothing but truth out there.
Anyway, this robot, along with its amazingly developed robotic brain, is outfitted with a chainsaw and a healthy dislike for kudzu. That's an artificially intelligent killer robot, folks, equipped with weapons tasked to the fight. This has to be safer, I would imagine, than a herd of goats, which the state of Tennessee, that's what we're using here, folks, is goats. This is a killer robot with a brain.
What could be better than giving a robot a chainsaw?
Exactly, and a brain.
Yes.
Okay.
There's absolutely zero things that could go wrong there.
I'm agreeing
Not
with
at
you.
all, not at
Good
all.
old boy Dave, you're 100% right.
Can't think of any movies that might have anything.
There's
There's no problem.
Not at all.
Zero
No.
downside to this.
Goats are evil. Robots with weapons and brains are definitely our friends.
But as long as the kudzu's dead, what else matters?
That's all that matters, man.
That's all that matters.
Got to get rid of the kudzu. So let's tip our hats to those courageous researchers
Thank
at
you,
Oklahoma
researchers.
State. We
Thank
need
you.
this
Go Cowboys.
kudzu terminator
And
in
what
our
better
ongoing battle.
place than Oklahoma for really smart things to come out of?
Thank you.
Totally.
Thank
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I mean, when I think smart people, I think Oklahoma.
Oklahoma needs this.
That's right.
They need
Give
this
it to
win.
Oklahoma.
They
Do
need
it.
this win.
Do it, Oklahoma.
Anyway,
You got it.
keep up the good fight, folks.
Love you guys.
Thank
Up
you.
yours, kudzu.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you
That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
for that
That's all I'll say
Kudzu
about that.
report.
That was beautiful.
That was. I'm feeling a little verklempt.
I need a little beer.
Yes.
I need some beer now.
Lord, I got to catch my breath a little bit.
Well-
Serious.
How about
It's
I
serious.
talk about the first beer?
Well, yeah, speaking of beer, let's talk about the first beer from
to the
Night
beer.
Shift Brewing Company. So, good old boy Dave, what is the first beer we're going to talk
So
about?
we're going to talk about Morph. Morph is a rotating IPA series with new recipes from batch to batch. That means they change it up, everybody. If you're not from Oklahoma, you might not understand that.
Oh, wait,
every
it
once in a
morphs?
while.
Yes.
Does it morph from batch to batch?
Let's not go that deep. We experiment with different hops and malts to showcase a range of IPA varieties. You know what? That means they're not satisfied with the status quo. All right? They're going to make it happen.
That's right.
Jack. For a specific can's batch details, refer to the info printed on the bottom of the can. I probably shouldn't have read that whole part. I probably should have just read from the can. But here's what I'm going to tell you is that the cans that we're trying are batch 57.
Yep.
Not batch 57.
Oh, batch 57, my brother.
Infamous batch.
This was done on 12/19/17. It was
Or
brewed,
thereabouts.
or thereabouts. It could have been,
A couple weeks later.
or a couple weeks before.
No.
We don't know.
Well, it could. Who knows?
What?
Who knows? That
Is-
part is a mystery.
Calendars are immutable.
Yes.
Before
don't
or
know.
after the equinox.
The
The
ink was
Gregorian or the Julian?
the ink on the bottom of the can was smudged a bit. We don't know what it was.
Okay.
But
I
anyway,
gotcha.
brewed with Citra, Euconaut, and Azuka. This is a 6% ABV IPA. Good old boy Caperton, what did you think about this beer? What were your tasting notes?
Wait a minute. That's
Does he have tasting
See how
notes?
Yes, I
flip
do.
that
Yes,
around?
I do. Yes,
Okay.
I do. Whirlpool. Okay, this was the pale ale, right?
No.
No,
Yes.
we're not doing
we
Yes.
The
Whirlpool.
American Pale Ale.
Are we
We're,
doing?
are we do-
Yes.
we're doing Morph. I'm
We're
sorry.
doing
Yeah,
Morph.
Morph.
Yes.
Morph. I'm with you now. I'm on track.
Come on, baby, you got it.
Okay, I liked this beer quite a bit. There was a nice maltiness that I was picking up on. Just a
Good. How'd you like the hop combination?
touch of caramel. I thought the hops were fantastically fruity.
Very New Zealand to me.
Yeah.
How about you, Rev Mark?
Yeah, I loved it mostly.
Mostly.
For the most part.
I thought of the 3 IPAs that we tried in this flight.
Yeah.
For me at least, it seemed to be also the most highly attenuated.
Oh,
Okay.
that means
Okay.
it fermented all the way out, y'all.
Yeah.
Not super sweet.
I'm using a big word on you there.
For
but
all y'all that
just-
don't know big words, that means the yeast did all its work.
It ate up all the sugar.
Ate it all up.
ate it all up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I thought, even though you had that really nice, juicy,
Did it finish
multi-layered
kinda dry for you?
yeah, kind of a nice hot bite, but then it just finished off really dry and kind of neutral.
That's
I kind
what
of
I
like
like,
that.
y'all.
It's a quaffing beer.
Quaffing. How about you there, good old boy, Drew?
I couldn't agree more. It was definitely quaffable, and it almost even was reminiscent of go completely off the rails here. A little cucumber, a little vegetalness to say it. I wanted more when I
The big
finished.
brain on Drew.
What?
Boy.
How about you, good old gal, Juliana? How did you feel about this beer?
Again, the word is quaffable, and it really rings true. Very easy drinking, but I like the dry finish on it. I like the fact that it didn't linger. It just it put you where you needed to be, and then it just ended.
Smacked you on the butt and went on its way.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Didn't come back to your house, start harassing you later.
Boil your bunny in a pot.
And if I was hanging out on the beach at the Cape, I would want to drink one of these.
I'd
with
take a
I would
12-pack
bring-
of this on a-
Exactly.
12
Yeah.
pack of that and a
Anytime.
cucumber. and
I'd
just
accompany.
Hang out.
Yeah, very, very easy.
What would we rate this beer there, good old gal, Juliana?
Well, as a matter of fact, all right, are you okay there,
How
buddy?
did we get all southern on a New
I don't know. I
England beer
think
show?
Mark started this.
I think it'll be just
Top 5
fine.
actors all time.
y'all.
It's easy. Matt Damon,
Ben Affleck,
Mark Wahlberg,
Casey Affleck.
and Johnny Wahlberg.
Sorry, I had to just punch some New England into
There
the
you
show.
go. Bring it
Oh.
back. Bring it back around.
That
Yep.
did it. We gave this beer a 4.
Wicked.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
Good old boy Caperton. We
Moving
can
on.
now talk about the Whirlpool.
Whirlpool. Tell us about the Whirl. Because here's the thing: they named this beer after the Whirlpool part of brewing.
Exactly. I would imagine.
So no, that
Not
actually
the
they
appliances.
they
Not the
absolutely
appliances,
did.
Okay.
So, good old boy Caperton, tell us for those who don't homebrew, what is the Whirlpool part of the brewing process?
The whirlpool part of the brewing process would be late in the brewing, in the what we would call the hot side of the boil, right?
Ooh, that's
so
right. Keep it on the hot
so
side.
after we turn the flame off, we would recirculate that what we call wort.
Yep,
not to
yep,
get
yep.
too
As we're
termy.
chilling.
As we're chilling her down, you're whirlpooling with the hops. You would add the addition of hops at that point, and the theory here, the science tells us that a lot of aroma and flavor come from those.
That's right.
From those late addition.
And
hops.
basically, what it looks like in the boil kettle is you're creating an actual whirlpool by pumping the wort back into the the boil kettle, and what you're doing is all of the sediment that has collected is actually settling into the very middle of
Yes.
the boil kettle in a cone.
In a cone.
So that when you pull it out of the boil kettle into the fermenter later on, once it's chilled down to fermentation temperature, all that crud stays there, so you have less sediment in your beer while it's fermenting.
Eureka!
And that actually happens.
Yes.
I've seen
Makes it
that
clear.
happen.
It does
Not
happen, yeah.
in any of my batches.
It takes about 20 minutes
It
though,
does,
for it to really
and it takes a
kick in.
pump, and your boy here uses a spoon. So.
There you go. Well,
There
you
you
know
go.
what?
But I do whirlpool
You gotta
with
start
my
somewhere.
spoon.
You got
I
to
do
build up them
whirlpool.
arm muscles
And
though.
it's-
If you stir it for 20 minutes straight, I guarantee you it'll
I
happen.
embrace this process that I
Or
use.
just go to Home Depot and
Anywho,
get a
folks,
paint net and
that's
make
what they're-
a spider.
There you go.
That's what they're referring to as whirlpool.
There you go. Cool.
Okay, and the style would be a New England Pale Ale for this beer, and it
So
comes
not
in
a New England
Not
IPA.
an
That's
IPA.
a very interesting aspect
Pale Ale.
of this.
Yep,
Some differentiation there.
4.5%, which falls right in the Pale Ale zone. Actually, maybe at the back end, the lower end of it, and the tasting notes for this beer, according to the brewery, are soft, peachy, and juicy. And I won't get ahead of
That's
myself.
what I like
but
to call
that's-
Reverend Mark.
yeah,
Is soft, peachy, and juicy.
And it,
what they
their
say.
notes say it's a bright, flavorful pale ale that pours straw yellow and slightly hazy. Expect the aromas of peach and mango with notes of ripe citrus and a crisp finish.
I would say that is 100% correct.
It's one of their flagship beers.
And I can see why.
Yeah, I can too.
It
'Cause you
actually
can-
even
yeah.
looks like peach juice, like peach nectar when you pour it out. So, Reverend Mark,
And
what do you
it's-
think about it?
Yeah, and it's a great session beer, because of its low ABV.
Yep.
I got some stone fruit in there. I'd put a little apricot in there myself, but that's just me. I also think that the hop profile was citrusy, had a little bit of a kind of like rush into a pine forest, but not too much. There was some of that punch there. So I thought, it had some good hop versatility for a kind of light beer.
Sure.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I like the fact that it's straw color. Means that there's no caramel malt there, which is quite apparent.
Yep.
So yeah, everything that they're doing there in that Whirlpool is transferring into unadulterated flavor.
That's right.
I think too, though, it's cool that it's a New England Pale Ale, so that it's not going to be as hazy as an IPA because you're not going to have all the huge hoppiness, and that's where a lot of the haze comes from. So it's hazy, but it's not IPA hazy.
I wonder if they dry hop this beer. It doesn't.
I don't feel like
Yeah,
they
it
did
doesn't
because I
taste
don't
like
get
they
that.
did.
What do
Yeah.
you think, Drew?
Yeah.
What are you getting out of this dog?
I really enjoyed it. I did say that I had, sort of a vegetal aspect to it, at least on the finish, especially as it warmed.
I could see that. There's something going on there. I mean,
It isn't what I would,
it's not off-putting, but it's there.
if you said New England style to me, this is not what I would have immediately identified as something that was going to be New England style. That
Right.
said, it's highly enjoyable. And, as Reverend Mark alluded to, it really checks a lot of the boxes on what that is, whether you would think it was going to be New England IPA or
Sure.
New England Pale Ale or not. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
how do you differentiate?
I think it's strictly ABV and hop volume.
Okay.
Between a pale? Was that the question?
Between
Yeah,
a pale
yeah,
and
yeah.
an IPA.
Between a New England Pale and a New England India Pale.
Because then you get into what if it was a New England session IPA?
Whoa.
Yeah. Which I don't think this quite.
No, it was
No, no.
I think that
No,
this is
no.
one of the situations where a lot of times we talk about, well, if they would have just called it this, it would have tasted
Right.
more like it. I think they named it correctly.
Solid pale ale.
Yeah.
This is a pale ale just because the malt and the hops are very well balanced.
Agreed.
And it's not overly hop centric. So I think that's where the pale ale comes into.
Yeah.
It's a lower ABV and more balanced.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Good old gal Julieanna.
Why, thank you. I really enjoyed this, and the reason why I did is it's so hard to find good pale ales that are balanced but full of flavor and make you feel like even though it's a low ABV, you're getting a lot out of it. And this is one of those that, to me, it kind of sets a standard.
Agreed.
Because it's a really beautiful array of hop flavor in there, but the malt is there too. And really, I can't believe that this is only a 4.5% ABV beer. It tastes so much more than
It's
that.
got a lot of flavor for a session beer.
Sure. And considering how much we enjoyed the Morph and that IPA series, to then go to this pale and them having to scale down, they didn't scale down flavor at all.
No.
Agreed.
And I'm
Agreed.
really I'm really enjoying this a lot.
What did we rate this beer, Julieanna?
But of course, we rated it a 4.
I touch myself to Tom Brady.
Some people.
Everybody.
Some
TV
people.
12.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Give Tom Brady a handy if he wins the Super Bowl.
Super Bowls? Really? Whatever.
It's a big deal, man.
To some people.
It is.
Okay. I think a Stanley Cup, but that's just me. Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Moving on, baby. We're moving on.
I think this particular beer and Reverend Mark go hand in hand.
Oh, yeah.
Please
What
tell
is
us
that?
about beer number 3.
Beer number 3 is the Village Lager. Now, it is not to be mistaken for their lesser-known malt liquor known as the Village Idiot.
Wow. I think that's a different brewery.
Which you can find conveniently at your local 7-Eleven or Medco.
But I think every village needs a lager, and every village has an idiot. So,
But this one is clearly not the Village Idiot. It is a cut above and then some. This is a Keller beer, a lager. Basically, what we have here is a hybrid style beer. It can be fermented at very low lager temperatures or low ambient. But it is, to me at least, just unadulterated malt.
so kind of between a lager and an ale.
Correct, but it still is a lager technically. It still is conditioned cold.
Sort of like a Kolsch.
Sort of like a Kolsch, exactly. And it is it's just so evocative of the classic German cellar beer that's unpasteurized, which means that it is meant to be consumed as soon as it is tapped. And for me, at least, this has the clean malt. There is some aromatic, little spice to it, but not overly so. It adds some kind of roasted biscuit-like aspect to it.
It's one of the lagers that you can have that's sort of cloudy instead of really clear, too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be extremely bright, although this one's fairly clear.
This one is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. As far as that goes, but it's not
Yes.
like
Yes.
lager,
Yes.
like lager
Not
clear.
true.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's delicious. Totally delicious.
Good old boy Drew, what do you think about it?
Amazing.
Oh,
Absolutely
sorry, Drew.
amazing.
Haha.
Have those thoughts. We'll save them for just a minute.
Baby, the whole elation riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as the willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. So, we are in the middle of discussing a beer,
The Village Lager.
the Village Lager from Night Shift Brewing Company
Lager.
in
Village
Everett,
people.
Massachusetts. And we are doing a brewery takeover. So,
We want you. We want you. We
Yes.
want you as a new recruit.
something like that, yes. Good old boy Drew, please
only Village
continue
people for
on
that.
your thoughts about the Village Lager.
The Village Lager was easily my favorite of the flight. Absolutely delicious. It had a malt character to it that I very much enjoyed, yet finished very crisp. Had a toasty nature. I know I was not alone in my enjoyment of this one. Truly, definitely plan to seek this one out and keep a sixer in the fridge.
Nice.
As much as I can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Night Shift, for making a beer of this style. This is a style that it can be so overlooked. Like, who wants to make this? You know, there's
a lager.
Well, it's
Exactly.
it's more trouble than an ale.
Well, you think about it too. Like
Who's
like
got
a
the
lot of
refrigeration?
a lot of breweries who are mostly into making big hoppy ales or doing all these things. A lager can be kind of a throwaway kind of thing,
right.
but they actually like went all in. You know?
Yes. So thank you for taking the time and effort to make this style, because as a home brewer myself, yes, lagering can be a pain in the buttocks.
The patootie.
But if it is well done, it is so worth it and so enjoyable. And this, I am so happy I was able to find this and bring this back to Tennessee, because the moment I saw it, I got excited because I'm like, yes, they make lagers too. This is awesome.
She pushed a guy down so that she could get the last 4-pack.
A little old lady, I heard.
Two
too.
guys.
Yep.
Two guys and a girl.
Yep.
Okay?
Kicked her right in the knee.
Yes. And they said to me, what do you know about lagers?
Out of the way, Granny.
She
and
said,
I'm like,
loggers cut down trees. Bam! And not.
That was good.
yes.
That was a good one.
Anyways,
All right.
this is just absolutely stunning.
Virtual high five.
The maltiness on this is beautiful. I mean, it's a perfect recipe.
Toasty.
Truly.
and just nice. It has a nice depth of flavor.
Yeah, just toasty enough. The lager yeast is just prime. The crispness of it is beautiful. There's a slight hoppiness to it, but not enough. But
Just
not
enough
crazy.
to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a bit of restraint on this, which I so appreciate and enjoy, because.
I know nothing about restraint, but I respect it.
But a lot of times you'll get a lager that's overly hopped, and then you're like, why did you do that?
I think these were noble hops, maybe too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're-
Probably.
Yeah, it's very
right,
subtle and very to
Hallertau.
style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
went like full
I think
on.
this is legit.
We're gonna
Yeah.
follow every bit of the process on this. You know, like
Very legit.
full German process,
Yes.
ingredients, everything.
Like somebody was taking the temperature every 10
Yeah.
minutes, just making sure they got it
Sure.
exactly right.
Up 10 degrees, down 10 degrees.
And
up
I'm
3 degrees.
hoping that one of the friends that formed this brewery is of German descent, because to me, if it just feels like there's a lot of love that went into this one. You know what I mean?
True.
No, I don't know what you mean.
True.
Well, because not a lot of breweries are going to make a lager.
Well, they don't have to be German to like German beers.
Yeah, but
I mean,
there's a lot of love in this.
Caperton ain't French, but he likes saisons.
Actually, I am French.
Oh, shut up. Reverend Mark ain't Belgian, but he'll drink a triple.
Not me.
Okay, have you looked at his
As a
head?
matter of fact.
He's Belgian waiting to happen.
That's
Yes, I'm a Trappist.
that's Belgian, not Belgian.
I'm a total Trappist.
That head is bulging.
Whatever. Anyways, thank you, Night Shift, for making such a beautiful lager,
What did
and I
we-
hope everyone appreciates it as much as we are at this table.
We are very much appreciating it. And how much did we appreciate it?
Oh, we went to the end of the spectrum. We rated this a 5.
Oh.
We rated this Tom Brady. That's how high it was.
Okay.
No comment.
Moving on. Good old boy Drew. Let's talk about another beer.
I thought he just
Absolutely.
talked about the... No.
Nope.
No, because Reverend Mark talked about the lager. So the next one is...
Maybe I should just shush it.
You probably should. Yes.
As usual.
Good old boy Drew, would you like to talk about Awake?
No,
Absolutely. As I am awakening. The lively, robust porter for the senses, brewed with whole beans of Counterculture's hologram blend, the perfect marriage of the two things that many of us cannot live without, coffee and beer.
Oh, my gosh.
Right?
Absolutely.
As soon as I picked up the glass of this, you look at it, it is motor oil. It is, espresso. You smell, it is espresso.
You can
taste.
get this in those little espresso cups, too. You know?
I mean,
Like you
yeah,
did
why
that.
not? Why not? It's, that said, obviously being espresso, being dark, not sweet, very dry, very, very roasty, almost a baker's chocolate undertone to it. Really, really enjoyed it. really enjoyed it. Not my favorite of the flight, but very close.
It's
Very
awesome
close.
that you said baker's chocolate because I think that's the first time I've heard someone kind of use that. But from a cooking perspective and everything, I mean that's a really kind of a cool way to to talk about that.
Yeah.
The not
And these
sweet
guys,
chocolate.
in their description mentioned their passion for the sort of.
And that's what you get from the
Foodiness.
coca
Yeah.
nibs. The coca nibs give you that.
Yeah,
Of
absolutely.
course.
Yeah.
This, to me, I'm a fan of porters and stouts, and I'm always interested in somebody that makes a really good porter and stout because to me, they're unsung heroes because if they're not made right, they can still mask a lot of off flavors depending on what is added to them. But if they are made right, the malt profile just shines right through, and the malt profile on this is stunning. The coffee is just a nice little addition, and it's not overwhelming. I still get a good base out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes, there's a really good coffee aroma, and yes, it's there, and it's prevalent from the first taste to the ending, but it is just such a good marriage. It's such a good,
Compliments.
yeah.
It's like, does it make the beer better or does it cover something up?
And in this case, it does not cover anything up.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it's
that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. This is lovely. And again, this just goes to show it how good this brewery is from going from a nice IPA to a nice lager and now to a nice porter.
For sure.
I mean, this is
a wide variety.
this is
of things.
decent. Yes,
Yeah.
this is decent on any front.
You're doing really well. In
Yes.
multiple
Anyways.
styles.
They're not a one-trick pony.
No,
That's the thing.
they're not.
That
They got a couple
the
tricks up their
region
sleeve.
sort of lends itself to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So when somebody does do multiple things well, and not just does it as an afterthought, then that's even better.
True. Good old boy Dave, what did you think of this beer?
I really liked it. I thought the coffee flavor really wasn't overwhelming, but it was definitely prevalent, and it was there's still a nice porter sweetness to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed this beer a lot. Yeah.
Good old boy Caperton, what did you think of this beer?
I think what I liked the most about it was that there was no doubt, because sometimes porters and stouts can get a little fuzzy for me, right?
For everybody.
But
I
for this
think.
beer, this is a solid porter. I mean, there's no doubt
yeah.
Right.
that this is
Agreed.
this is
So while you're saying that, what to you distinguishes a porter from a stout?
for me,
A lot of it comes down to roastiness, right?
Yes,
Yes. Yep.
And I was going to say the roastiness on this is more dialed in. It's not
Yeah.
quite so. I think sometimes, for me anyway, stouts can take roastiness to a slight acetic quality.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Sure.
this falls well short of that.
Yeah.
There's a tiny bit of sweetness that I think both styles would share.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on the taste on this, but more on the nose. It's got just a nice, beautiful, roasty, sweet coffee smell.
So just as a historical note, stouts became a style based on a stout porter. So
Yeah,
a really big, overly roasty porter was a stout porter. So if you taste a dark beer and it's kind of roasty but not over the top,
right,
that's where the porter kind of
a
lives.
little more balanced.
When you
Exactly.
and, but then you get into the different kinds of stouts. But anyways,
Sure.
so once the roastiness really starts to take hold as a dominant flavor, you're moving more into the stout realm.
Sure. And it's not too sweet and dark fruity, and it's not too roasty.
It's
Right.
almost
It is
like
just
pale
that
ale versus IPA.
Exactly. It's a dialed down version.
For
But it's
me,
very well
stouts don't really lend themselves to. I'm not going to sit down and drink like 6 stouts, but I could drink this
Yeah,
night long.
unless they're imperial stouts, and unless I'm just planning on going to
Just
sleep.
getting
for the
wrecked.
next 2 days.
Depends on whether I got a ride or not. But
If you're going to watch Dr. Zhivago,
But this is a great beer.
Yes.
absolutely.
Again, to echo Drew, it's not my pick of the flight, but
it's a solid beer,
just
yeah.
below it, really.
I love this.
For sure.
How about you, Rev Mark?
I'm going to echo everything, so I won't have to repeat it. And say yes, I believe I'm in agreement with what's going around the table here. A porter, the saying is a stout is a son of a porter. So really, the porter was the first, and the porter, it was really a working person's beer, a working man's beer
For the train porter.
For the porters.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it's interesting though that to me as a home brewer, the main difference, in terms of grist is that if you really want a traditional stout, it's just a heck of a lot of roasted barley.
Yep.
You don't put much else in there. You shouldn't. I believe you should leave crystal malt out. Whereas for a porter, it's more nuanced. You have some roasted barley, but it's not a lot.
Put some brown malt in there.
You get some brown malt in there. And I just feel, and I think this maybe is more of like an English porter in that there's some Maris Otter to it. It's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
sweetness. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Good call.
And so I think that's what's going on here. And so for me, that becomes the perfect sort of, backdrop to put the coffee into because
Absolutely.
it's not competing with a lot of big flavors.
No,
Let me ask you guys
it's a good
this.
marriage.
How do you guys think that their homebrew background is playing into some of these beers? Because, on the Morph and the other beer we're going to talk about in a minute, obviously they rotate different recipes and do all this, but
Oh, I think it's a huge part.
I feel like,
Yeah.
particularly with this beer, they were playing around with some stuff, and to make this beer come
This
around.
is a home brewer's brewery
Yeah.
for sure. Because who else would be making such a variety and do
Wide
these varieties so well?
Doing
Yeah.
it so well.
You know
And
what I mean?
Big flavors, too.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
really big flavors.
A lot of breweries that are up and coming tend to be one-trick ponies.
Yeah.
They're all sours and nothing else.
I
Or they're
gotta-
all
I gotta-
saisons
yeah.
and nothing else.
I got medals for my IPA, so I'm going to
So therefore, I'm
going
going to do 20
yeah.
IPAs. Right, exactly. No, these guys, these. I hate to use the term blue collar, but these guys seem to me to be very blue collar because they're doing really good jobs at so many things.
Well, that's how they got their name. They had desk jobs during
Night
the day,
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they were home brewing all night.
That's great.
So that's why they named it Night Shift.
And I could totally
I
relate.
love these guys
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, yeah.
Identifiable
Exactly.
at all.
Working stiffs.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. They were like, we got to do our desk job all day just to pay for the grain and
Just
stuff,
like me.
Yeah.
so they can stay up
Especially
all night
in
and
this
brew.
beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's finish up here. We gave this one a 4, so we can move on to the last beer.
Cool.
Okay, so the last one that we're going to talk about is the one that I'm going to talk about, and that is the One Hop This Time Amarillo Single Hop IPA.
So a lot of places talk about smash beers and things. So this is definitely a single hop beer.
Mm-hmm. The One Hop This Time is a rotating single hop IPA series, highlighting a different hop with each release. And this particular time, they were using Amarillo hops. Floral, citrusy, with like some serious tropical, juicy flavor impact. What's interesting about this beer is that when I first cracked it open, I was, meh, yeah, Amarillo, sure, yeah, okay, I get it, it's popular. But then, as it's warmed up, the floralness of it is there, and it's kind of taken on a life of its own.
I agree.
And it's warmed up. But I really, really enjoyed this. And it's a nice highlight to Amarillo hops. What'd you think of it?
I'm not crazy about it, but I do think it's, if you feel like Amarillo hops, you'll like this beer, but I thought it was kind of okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. And for me, possibly not the best showcase for the hop, but it was good, but not the best effort.
Yeah, a little one-dimensional, but I think it's a fine beer, and I mean, all their products are amazing. But for me, I'd try another one hop rather than this one.
Hop to cream ale with Amarillo.
Sure.
There he is.
What would we rate this?
Well,
Nailed it.
but if you like Amarillo, you'll like it, and we gave this a 3.
We gave it a 3.
Well, crap. That's another episode done.
Are we done already?
We're done already.
No.
Quick. That was quick.
I think this was great. Okay. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly enjoyed this episode. And you can catch all of our episodes online, as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sips, Suds, Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online anytime at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
And also, our daily tasting notes flow out of Twitter and Instagram every day at Sip Sud Smoke, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
Please take the time to rate this episode if you're listening online. We love 5 stars.
Remember the number 5.
That's our number of the day, 5. Well, this is good old gal Julieanna. Good old boy Dave, thanks for being here.
Hey, check out my Instagram account at GoodOldBoyDave and watch my 60-second beer reviews.
They're great.
Good old boy Caperton, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for giving me a platform to fight the green menace.
Good old boy Reverend Mark, thanks for being here.
Great to be here. May peace be with you.
And good old boy Drew. Thanks you
Thanks
for
so
being
much
here.
for having me, and also with you.
This is good old gal Juliana. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tune in to our next episode and keep on chuggling.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.